It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That is Death Angel from my favorite personal record, The Art of Dying. That is Word to the Wise. And a guy on the line now to give some words to the wise. It is Ted Aguilar of Death Angel. Ted, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Excellent, man. Well, Ted, I have to say, man, as a fan of the band, I cannot wait this 2 months or whatever we have to wait to get this new record, man. Very stoked that a new Death Angel record is coming.
Thanks, man. We're stoked about it, and we can't wait for you to hear it, too.
Excellent. Well, Ted, the new record, The Evil Divide,
Hold on 1 minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay.
No problem. Well, I'll just start again. Here we go.
Okay.
Well, Ted, the thing that I'm hearing from you guys and publicity people anyway with the Evil Divide is that it's going to pick up where the last two records left off as far as the aggression and the heaviness. Is that just sort of where the band is now at? Because obviously, not that the band was not always heavy, but certainly there's a big difference between listening to the latest stuff and like Act 3, don't you think?
Very different, but there's some influences from those early albums on this new record, but you can't help it. You know what I mean? It's Death Angel.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the headspace that we're in at the moment. Playing this heaviness and stuff like that. And not only that, it all a lot of the contributions come from Will and Damien, that freshness, because they're nothing but thrash players. You know what I mean? And they're just like, and Rob's the main songwriter, and all our headspace right now is into playing, some brutal metal.
Sure.
Our style of thrash metal.
Absolutely, man. Now, for people that don't know, man, I mean, the records have always been really, really good. And I as I told you off air, I am a huge fan. But I am a believer that you cannot even remotely appreciate your band until you see the band live. Do you agree with that or not?
Yes and no. I mean, we are a live band, that's for sure. And some people love seeing us live, then they love listening to records. And, there's those other people that just like listening to the records and, not really into the live show. But I would have to agree, yeah, we are a live band, and if you come see us, you probably appreciate it more. If you like the records, you love us even more when you see us live, because, that's where we, that's our thing. Playing live is our thing. We love just going out there and just jamming and just having a good time. And, the fans and people who watch us, they see that energy, and, they take it in and they give the energy back. So it's this constant, energy exchange. So that's what I have to say. That's what makes us a good live band.
Sure, definitely, and it's interesting that your last release, the live record, the Live in San Francisco, it really does capture a lot of that energy, especially from Rob. I think Rob Cavastani is just such an underrated player, man. I mean, he never gets any of the credit that I would think that, other guys, your Scott Ians and whatnot that play the same sort of stuff get, don't you think?
Dude, you know what? Speaking of, I was just talking about this with somebody, and, you are correct. It really sucks because, everyone knows who Rob is, but he seems to get swept under the rug for some reason, It's not like he's an unknown cat. He's been there for, he helped pioneer this genre we call thrash.
Right.
He was there with Exodus, with with Metallica. Death Angel was there, but, he just seems to get overlooked. I don't know if it's, Death Angel's style of writing, because, when you look at Death Angel compared to, all the other thrash bands, we were more, melodic compared to them. You know what I mean? The Exodus was more brutal, this and that, and they're good at that. But, Rob's songwriting, he takes a different approach to it. He loves, I would say there's more rock element than thrash.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Where all the other bands are more thrash with low rock influence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Rob he's a unique songwriter, and he writes great songs, and maybe people are just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Maybe
No,
our style of thrash people just, they like, but it's not thrash. It's just a different type of thrash. So that's probably why rock gets always swept under the rug, which kind of like bums me out.
Sure, but you are right too. I mean, some like the song that we just played, "Word to the Wise." It starts with almost a soft rock intro before it just rips your face off in the middle.
That's just Rob's style vibe. He loves vocal melodies. He loves good arrangements of songs. He just takes the thrash element, because Rob listens to a lot of his main influence. One of his main influence, of course, Kiss. Then you got Queen. Then you got Elton, Stevie Wonder, and Bjork, and all great pop singers who write great songs. So he takes that, his influences of like Randy Rhoads and Iron Maiden and all that, and those style of rock writing, and infuse thrash into it, but with arrangements of the pop artists. It's just more arrangements and how to put things together. So that's what gives Death Angel its style. Mark's the same way as well.
Sure.
Maybe that's why we're always left center. You know what I mean? Like, or left field. Like, oh yeah, Death Angel's right there with everyone. They're kind of in the corner, but they're there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe it's ourselves. Hopefully we could just branch out and, like, hey, this is who we are. Accept
Sure.
it.
And I've seen the band. I've seen you guys play. I don't know, 15 times or so. And
Awesome.
And I was one of the few, I guess, that had an opportunity to catch the organization as well. I just happened to be living out there at the time, and saw the organization play once or twice at the Omni or the Stone, one of them places. And
probably the Stone. Wow, you go way back.
Yeah, I'm an old schooler, man. But what I remember most was when you guys played, no matter who you would play against, and I'm trying to think. One of the most recent times I saw you as well was with Testament and Warbringer, and you guys literally bring so much more energy then and now than pretty much anybody you share a stage with. And I guess that's why I was saying earlier about the live energy is, yeah, you guys, and what you were saying is true, that Rob does write with a lot of different elements, but on stage, there's nobody bringing it as hard as you.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's a combination of, like, we love to jam. We love to be in a band together, right? We love the songs that we create. And that just moves us, I mean, if we didn't like the songs we play, I don't think we'd be going off that way. We're fortunately, I'm able to play with 4 other dudes who feel the same way about playing good music as the way I do.
Sure.
And I'm sure the feeling is mutual. We love to go off, and people have a good time. And people, and another thing is people, pay to see a show.
Right.
They pay in their hard-earned money. You can't go up there like a lot of bands and just rely on your lights and stand there. I mean, lights are good, don't get me wrong, but we just, we feel the way when we saw a band perform, like back in the day, whether it was Judas Priest or Maiden, when they have that energy. When you saw like Van Halen and AC/DC, Judas Priest, Maiden, Scorpions, when we were young, you see them, you go, whoa, they were awesome.
Right.
And that got you pumped because they were pumped. So, yeah, and, you could see, like, wow, they're really into what they do. They love what they do, and that's what we do, man. I mean, I appreciate the kind words. That's awesome, but at the end of the day, we just love what we do, and we love the music that we write, and we appreciate the people that come out to see it and give us that energy that they like it.
Sure. Now, is it different now because the industry is so different? I mean, it's not different, obviously, creating, but certainly back, in the early days, especially when you had the major label deal, you put out a record and there was money behind it, and now, you guys are kind of, I'm not saying Nuclear Blast is bad. I don't know what they do for you or don't do for you, other than obviously setting up press, but certainly it's a different animal than it was when a record label would hand you $500,000 and say, here, go record a record, go out on tour, make a lot of money.
It's even a different time 10 years ago.
Sure.
From 10 years ago. I mean, the industry's changing, and you got to keep up with it. It's an adapt or die thing. It's something like, oh man, dude, don't get me started. No, but it's just how it is. I mean, when when everyone was collecting vinyl and CDs came out, oh fuck, whatever, I don't know. You just gotta adapt to. I mean, you just gotta adapt to the times. It may be for the worst or for the best. We don't know. You just have to adapt to it. That's where the world's going. But you could also find a lot of good things about it. Of course, downloading or streaming. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different story. But you got to look at the flip side and go, what? It's getting out to the masses. It's getting out to the people all around the world much faster than it used to be. Mm-hmm. And then you just got to find other ways to kind of like compensate the loss, which is like a lot of bands going out on tour. At least putting out good merchandise, and like people still buy hard copies, and you just got to put a little extra in there. Like, how about this demo version of this song? You just mm-hmm. got to be creative. You can't. I mean, you could complain. The industry's changed, but complaining is not gonna do you any good. You just find a solution, find something that works best for you in this environment that's changing constantly.
Sure.
Every year. Mm-hmm. Like. I'm sure it goes for publication. Like, everyone goes online, no one's buying hard copies.
Right, right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So you have to find a way to adapt. Like, well, yeah, I could save money by not printing hard copies and go online. It's better than sending emails instead of magazines out or whatever, or just making your magazine a PDF.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So you just have to find a way to adapt, and whatever you lose on this end, you find a way to compensate it on the other. It's just dude, it's no different than any other business out there.
Sure.
It's just a different product.
Right, and it's the same way in anything that can be digital anymore. It's totally different. We obviously do a radio show, and we do a live version of the show, but. Yeah. And we do X number of listeners, a few thousand listeners, whatever, when we do it live. But then when we put out the podcast, we reach 15,000 listeners a week doing the podcast because people then could listen to it on their own time and whatnot. So you're right. It's anything that is in that environment is totally different now.
It's totally different. Like, for example, do you sell shirts for your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There'd be a different story. Like, try testing this out. Like, if you went live with one of your shows, put up one of your T-shirts for sale there. Let's see how many it sold during that live thing. But if you put it on your podcast, I'll bet you'd sell more because people have time to sit down and listen to it, and they go, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah. No.
You get what I mean?
That's absolutely true, man. It's different animal these days, man.
It's a different animal. People could complain to the hilt, but it's not going to fix nothing.
Right.
I've heard, and I've seen a lot of artists complain about downloading this and that, and they're bitching. Okay, dude. All right, dude. We're all on the same boat. But what's the solution? People talk about, well, back in my day, I used to buy vinyl, look at the album. Yeah. We did too, bro, but it's not that time no more.
Exactly.
Just a lot of kids. I have nieces and nephews. They don't understand the concept of buying a record. They don't get it. They see what I do. Sure. But they don't get it because they didn't grow up to it. They grew up to technology, what's out there. And I get that. It's just like growing up, my parents go, I don't know why you listen to that music. Well, back in my day, well, it's not your day anymore. It's my day.
Right.
So you just got to find a solution, man.
Right, exactly. Is it frustrating for you? And I agree with you. I have my nieces, and my one niece is a huge music fan. Not of this stuff. Yeah. She's more into the awful pop music, but whatever. But she doesn't even understand the concept of an album. She's never bought an album. She just buys, the one song that she knows and whatnot. And I'm curious, for a band like Death Angel, you guys are an album band. Yours, you can listen to, Bored or whatever, Room with a View, whatever song you want to pick. And it's a cool song, but you don't experience your band unless you start at the beginning of Killing Season and go all the way to the end. So is it frustrating for you as a musician, even now you're doing the new record, The Evil Divide, is it frustrating knowing that some people will buy 2 songs instead of experiencing what it is that you guys spent 6-8 months, whatever it was, developing?
Yeah, that's, it could be frustrating, but it's not going to change the way we write music and record music, first and foremost. We're an album band. We're not one of those bands where, well, you know what, let's at least there's 2 good songs. Everything else is just fillers. They're good enough. No, we first and foremost, we take pride every song we write and record, every song. Then, yeah, people out there buy one or two songs, but, that's how everything is. And the only way to do it on your end is to train them to buy the whole record. That's
right.
Our job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to be avenues where, they'll push one song here, two songs there, and at least they buy it. Okay, cool. But we know the diehards, they'll listen to the whole album. And there's going to be people out there that listen to one or two. Word of mouth spreads.
Sure.
If people go, dude, you only bought two songs, you should get the whole album. Word of mouth is probably the best promotion out there. So, I mean, there's going to be people out there like that, but we know our true diehard fans are going to listen to the whole album, and that's cool enough for us. The rest of the world will catch on if our diehards spread the word.
Very cool, man. Well, Ted. Obviously, this is gearing up to be a busy, I'll say, second half of the year for you guys. What does the rest of the year have for you? What is the actual release date as well? What is the release date, and then what follows for Death Angel?
Oh, release date right now is May 27th.
Okay.
And as of right now, we plan to hit the road, but our agent and management's working on something right now. We don't know what's going on, but the plan is to get on the road.
Okay.
As soon as the album come out. Who and with where is yet to be determined, but we want, and we are going to tour a lot for this record. I mean, this is a record where it's like we think people should hear, and we want to be on the road promoting it and playing as much as we can, and hopefully get on, do some headliners, and hopefully get on some big tours so we could at least, play to a whole bunch of people who've never seen us before.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the new record is coming out in the end of May, is The Evil Divide. And as a tradition on the show, Ted, we always let the artist pick a closing track. I obviously don't have the record, so maybe pick something from anything in the Death Angel catalog that I do have, and maybe tell us a quick story about it.
Okay. Let me see. If you have Dream Calls for Blood?
Of course. I have them all.
The last song, Territorial Instinct, Bloodlust.
Okay.
That song, it's such an epic song. If you hear it, it's like, it kind of reminds me of, like Jakey Lee era Ozzy and some Dio Sabbath. It's just that vibe. The intro and into the last half of the song. It's just so epic that, man, I wish a lot of bands wrote epic songs like that nowadays. Right. Everything seems to be short and like punchy and to the point, but that's a song that I think is very well crafted. It's probably one of my favorite Death Angel songs ever.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. This is Death Angel right here on your Classic Metal Show.